Good day for U.S. stocks. Let's get right to the market monitor and take a look at what's going on with the indexes because everybody's up over 1%. You can see the Dow up about 140 points, S&P 500 also up over 1%, and the NASDAQ is up over 1% as well today. Look at some reasons why. We had weekly jobless claims. Good news, dropped to 363,000. Private sector adds more jobs in 8 months, according to ADP. Consumer confidence, highest in more than 4 years. Construction spending rises on residential recovery, and manufacturing conditions rise to their best level since May. So all good news, all have helped the markets today. And with that, we're going to bring in our Reuters correspondent, Ernie Scheider. Hello, Ernie. We're going to talk Netflix because this is a really interesting story. Carl Icahn, controversial investor, controversial company with Netflix. The stock's been, wow, kind of all over the place. And it comes out in a filing that he owns a 10% stake, and he thinks that there's possibility of a buyer here. What do you think?
Yeah, Carl Icahn coming out basically saying he thinks Netflix is undervalued and would make a great acquisition for a number of companies. So Icahn is certainly experienced in coming into companies he thinks is undervalued, you know, Oshkosh, Navistar, Blockbuster, and really sort of throwing his weight around and sort of advising management on how to make different changes and whatnot. So him coming into Netflix is sort of a vote of confidence in them and their business model, which has sort of been battered recently.
Okay, but, however, vote of confidence, initially on the news, the stock was up about 14%. Now it's down over 1.5%. So do you think he's, you know, did he try to give the stock just a boost, but now they're not buying it? Because sometimes he can't exactly flush out a great potential buyer in the past.
Well, Blockbuster, you know,
right,
especially being kind of one of the key examples right there. You know, as with some of the companies he tries to get into, like Oshkosh, like Navistar, he really tries to get active and really get on the board and talk about ways he thinks the company should be run. So, you know, if you're a current Netflix shareholder, perhaps you're like, I don't want to be here for the long, drawn-out fight. You know, let's, you know, see where things are going to go.
And who's going to buy it? Because Amazon, you know, is making its own acquisitions and building its own infrastructure there. So
well, there was that rumor that Microsoft was interested,
right,
a rumor which both companies denied. But let's not forget, Netflix still has, you know, marquee brand recognition. You know, most consumers you walk to on the street, they'll know what Netflix is. You know, you'll be like, oh, go see this movie, Lisa. It's on Netflix. You know, so it's got that. You know, so the goodwill and the power of the brand name is certainly there, even if they're having trouble acquiring content.
And a still large consumer base. Okay,
yes,
stay put there, Ernie, because I'm going to return to you in just a moment. But now talk to Jeroen Martis, who's our Director of Consumer Research, and we're going to talk some retail sales, same-store sales, winners and losers. Let's go right to the winners first, Nordstrom, Costco, TJ Maxx, and Stage.
Well, Lisa, the one that really stood out is TJX. This earnings season, we've been hearing all the companies blame the weakness in Europe for poor results. But TJX actually said that that was their strongest same-store sale division at 11%, which shows that even the European consumers shopping for an everyday value and deal.
Well, definitely, especially in these times for them. Yes. Okay, let's go to the losers then. Wet Seal, Rite Aid, Fred's, Cato, and Zumiez.
Wet Seal has been a miss for over a year now, but just because they can't get it right when it comes to fashion. And teens are very fickle. They know what they want, and Wet Seal is not giving it to them.
Interesting.
Rite Aid, however, and Fred's are both suffering because there's been an increase in the generic drugs that have been introduced.
Right, okay. And some of these stores are mentioning Hurricane Sandy, obviously. Yes. Nordstrom, Macy's, Stage, and Rite Aid among them.
Stage stores and Rite Aid have all said that we're going to expect weaker November same-store sales because of the store closures, even Nordstrom's. Macy's, however, is a little bit more upbeat, and they said that regardless of the store closures, and they had over 200 Macy's and Bloomingdale's stores, they said that regardless, they think that they are going to make up for this in the remainder of the quarter. Now, what's interesting is that other retailers that will benefit from Sandy is also Home Depot and Lowe's, but not only because consumers just entered the replenish cycle, but also because analysts already forecasted before the earnings season that this was going to be the strongest performing group. The home builders, the home furnishing, home improvement stores, they're all going to be doing well for the third quarter.
More good signs for housing even pre-Sandy.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, and just very quickly, holiday preview, some stores that look good, Target, Macy's, as you mentioned, and TJ Maxx, which raised their third quarter and full year guidance.
Yes, what's very interesting is that Ross actually increased because of higher margins, which is very good. They slightly missed today on same-store sales, but the fact that they've seen improved margins is very good. TJ Maxx, they increased not only third quarter, but also full year earnings guidance because of stronger October same-store sales.
Okay, great. Jeroen, thank you so much. I'm going to now return to Dr. Ernie Scheider here, and we're going to move from retail sales to auto sales. But first, some big news out of Ford, because the CEO, Alan Mulally, is staying through 2014, and Mark Shields is a longtime executive there, promoted to COO, presumably to be groomed for the CEO spot.
Yes, so as COO, Fields will have operational oversight of the entire globe for Ford. Currently, he oversees operations in North America. So this is really a big promotion and a big step up for him. The Ford board of directors basically seeing like, okay, can he do this on a global scale? And, he's got a good track record. He's only 51, but he's already run Mazda when Ford had a big stake in Mazda.
It's a baby.
Yeah. and then he already ran the Ford division that owned Jaguar and Land Rover. So, he's certainly proven that he can do operational and executive leadership right now.
Right.
We'll see in 2014 what happens.
Got his chops. Okay, moving on to sales. Ford sales up, just edged up a bit. GM and Chrysler, stronger sales, strongest September since the financial crisis, but still not a full turnaround here in the auto industry.
And I think the key phrase there, Lisa, is since the financial crisis. So yes, auto sales have been increasing, but not in the pre-recession pace that a lot of these companies need right now. And I think a Volkswagen executive also said it really, really well. He said today, we're not yet at a full-blown recovery.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks volumes about where the auto industry is today. Strong growth, but it needs to be stronger.
Okay, in the passenger seat with me. Sorry. Over to the hotspot, and as we move there, remember to check out the snaps at the bottom of your screen for more headlines of the day. Ernie, Radian mortgage insurer, first quarter profit, great this year, up 13%.
Really strong news. Who'd ever thought we'd be speaking positively about a mortgage insurer?
Right.
I mean, these names were radioactive in 2008 and 2009, but
Yeah.
the fact that, they're coming out and posting a quarterly profit is a really positive sign for the housing industry. That shows,
Exactly.
consumers, they're making more, they're feeling more confident going out and buying more expensive homes, and so what you do, you need to insure those homes. So that's really good news. It all trickles down. So positive signs out of the housing market today.
All right, good news. Let's move on to tech here. Cirrus Logic, they make audio chips in the iPhone 5, 91% jump in second quarter sales, although they're down 13% today. Explain.
Yeah, so they make these parts that go into the iPhone, and they basically replaced Audience Inc. So that was really positive for them. They came out, stock jumped yesterday after hours trading, but Cirrus is not going to have parts in the iPad Mini.
Aha.
So that's probably not a really good sign for them, or not giving them as much as they could have had they been in the iPad Mini. So, the iPad Mini is coming out soon. Shareholders are going to be excited about it. Apple's getting into this space that's dominated by Amazon. So if Cirrus is not sort of on that iPad Mini train, it's probably, they're not getting as much as they could have.
That's right, on the eve of the big iPad Mini.
I know you'll be in line.
I have trouble with lines. Okay, Ernie Scheider, thank you so much. Remember, for more news, check out our Twitter feed at Reuters Insider, and our YouTube channel is Reuters.com/Reuters TV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.